I am Candace Hayes. I'm the owner of Q's Corner and president of Puzzle Play as well. Q's Corner is a brick and mortar. We have accessible equipment for individuals with different abilities. And so it's a standalone facility where people can come and engage and just have a good time. We're open to the public. It's not specific to any age group or gender. We do field trips and we just welcome everyone in the community to come in and just have a good time without limitations and barriers. Puzzle Play is a nonprofit and it supports programs in the community for kids with disabilities to be able to engage in the community and have access to resources to keep them engaged and to make sure that we provide inclusive activities for them to do. And it also promotes inclusion. When my son was probably about 3.5 to 4 years old, we got the diagnosis of autism. With that diagnosis, we began, doing different therapies, speech therapy, OT therapy. And I noticed that when we went to speech therapy, he loved the equipment there. We went to OT therapy. The equipment there gave him the sensory input that he was looking for. And those appointments were always like hours at a time, like an hour here and an hour there. And then afterwards we would go home and I would try to take them to other places. So when you take your kids out to have a good time, whether it's to the park or something like that, you kind of know what to expect. When you have a child with a disability, it's completely different. There are certain rules that you have to abide by for the safety of the children around you and things like that. So it became just like a tedious thing going to certain places because he didn't understand the concepts of certain rules. And so I noticed that the only time that he can really enjoy himself was when we were at when we were in a clinical setting with the speech therapy and the OT therapy. And then as I traveled to different cities like LA and St. Louis and Fort Lauderdale, I noticed that those places were a little more aware when it came to kids with autism. At the time, a lot of sensory gyms started popping up and things like that that would cater to kids with sensory processing and autism specifically. And then I would come back home for the summer and then I would notice we didn't have the sensory gyms. We didn't have anything that catered to kids with autism. So I think around that point I started thinking about what could I bring to my community and how could it help other people.
For Puzzle Play, I serve on their board proudly, and I also serve as a consultant for them in helping them raise money. Well, Puzzle Play was one of the greatest gems that I found. I was invited to go by and look at their space for another project that I was doing, and I walked through the door and I was amazed at what I saw. And then, of course, the way I think, I'm looking at what the possibilities could be with a space like that, particularly for kids with special needs. We have 1 out of 4 kids that are special needs kids. My role and my passion is to make sure that all kids have access, regardless of their financial situation. So my role on the board and my role as a consultant is really how do we create the capacity? How do we raise the money for Puzzle Play, which is the nonprofit piece of this, to make sure that all kids have access to this that won't have access to a safe place to learn.
And so now we want to move more into programming. Parents are looking for alternatives, where they can drop their kids off and their kids can learn basic life skills. Their kids can be involved in cooking classes and sewing classes and tennis lessons. And all these programs, they are attainable because when I lived in other places, I saw it, I've seen an amazing tennis program for kids called, ACE and Autism, where they worked on hand-eye coordination. My son was in swimming lessons, that were for kids with autism. They had surf lessons in California for kids with autism. Our kids can do pretty much any and everything. We just have to provide the resources and make the modifications for them to be able to learn at the pace that's suitable for them. So the plans for Q's Corner and Puzzle Play is to bring those resources to our children.
65% of the special needs population is either on free or reduced lunch or high poverty. That's the majority. And then most of those are Black and brown. And so it's important for all kids to have access. And so I know right now that no matter how much we expand the services at Q's Corner, there will be overwhelming majority of our kids that still could not access it just because of cost. So we wanted to eliminate that burden from parents and still be able to have them have access to a safe space to learn, play, and I'm excited about that. I'm excited about the future of what that looks like with puzzle play in Q's Corner.
Here at Q's Corner, we believe that a little goes a long way. With your help, we have every intention on accepting all kids. We believe that no kid should be denied access to recreational play. No kid should be denied access to a quality education. No kid should be denied access to simple summer camp. And so we're calling on the community, we're calling on donors, anyone who feels like what we're doing could build community. We're calling on you to help us to be able to run these programs on a very high level. So we just thank all of the people who have contributed to our summer camp, different businesses who have donated food and different supplies to us, those who have given monetary donations to sponsor kids to be able to come to summer camp for free. It's just been amazing, and we need more of that, and we definitely could not do it without you.